you're laying back, let the good deep breath start to flow. Full connection with inhales. Good long exhales. So that rhythm starting to get established in your system. It's not just one inhale and exhale that's deep, it's all of them. We're connected. So the word that we're playing with today is connection. This month I'm choosing different things that I'm grateful for. And today I'm feeling tremendously grateful that I have such good connections in life. So connection, there's many different levels to this. There's internal connection. How connected am I to my body, to my breath? Some people, you can kind of almost see it, that their body, the only purpose is just to carry their head from one place to the next. And so it's this return journey back to home, back to presence, back to connection with this experience, this body, this breath. It's also connection externally. People need people to be happy and healthy, to survive and thrive. There's different studies that show that people, and especially babies, need connection or they will not thrive. And so this connection is super important to be healthy. And I get this sense that we're way more connected than we think that we are. So in tuning into connection, maybe we're deepening some really good internal stuff that we can't even explain logically. It's just this connection that's there. It's like when I work on myself, suddenly I realize, I look around and it's like people have been working on it too. So in all these different levels of connection, that's what we're playing with today. And that's why we're using our 2 blocks today. The blocks will help us, give us something to connect with as we're moving through our practice. And so with this inspiration of connection to help lead us on, let's take our first movement. Let's start to take the knees into the chest. Let's do easy little circles. The knees rocking left and right, or maybe complete circles with the knees. Tune into that low back. Chance to become connected with it. Especially if there's kind of almost an immediate disconnect. When you wake up first thing in the morning, you immediately go onto your activities. Good. Another huge breath in and out. Drop the feet by the glutes, preparing for bridge pose, and slide in right underneath us. With our inhale, lift the hips up, rolling the vertebrae one at a time. And exhale, roll all the way back down. We're connecting not only with the spine, but also with the breath. Inhales and exhales. Let's take 4 more. Notice that the high spot of the knees have a tendency to slight open. Can you keep them squeezed to be in line instead? 2 more sets. And 1. Good. Start to slide the left leg long on the ground. The right knee gets a good hug. Clasp around that knee, pull it in. Give it another breath or 2, just being right here. And then start to pass this knee back and forth. Open into the right hand. And pass it over to left hand. Partial twist across the body. So 2 more like that, easing the hip joint a little bit deeper. One more good inhale. And with the exhale, leave the leg crossing over the body. It's not very often that somebody completely twists the knee to the ground. So today, if the knee is not in contact with the ground, slide the block under the knee at whatever height helps you feel that knee connected to the earth. And that way it's less about kind of trying to force anything down, and it's more about just releasing all muscular effort. It's almost like a restorative quality to get our practice started. Take another huge inhale. Exhale, start to ease the right hip back to ground, slide the right leg long. Left knee comes in, give it a good hug. Pull it in as tightly as feels okay. Let's travel 3 times back and forth, left knee to left. Across the body, partial twist. Taking number 2. And on that third one, we're going to stay in the twist. So again, if the knee doesn't touch the floor at any height, scoot the block underneath the knee. So how the spine just has that restorative chance to relax open. One more breath, flow in and out. Ease the hip back down to the ground. Take both knees back into chest. Do a couple more rocks. Feel if the low back and the hips have shifted some of their energy at all. Good. Drop the feet back down close to the glutes. This time when we lift the hips up, we're going to slide the block right under the sacrum. So lift the hips up as high as feels good. Choose the block height that's going to work for your body today. Some might be at tall. Most people would be closer to medium. So no need to force anything. Make sure it's under the flat hip part, that sacrum, not the bumpy vertebrae getting into the spine. That's much closer to hip area. From here, start to slide your right heel forward. It's on the ground, still resting. Feel how this stretch connects us to our psoas, the hip flexor on the front side. A muscle group that takes a little bit of effort to get into. Explore another good inhale. Exhale. From there, start to slide the right foot back into plant. Left heel slides out. Maybe this side has a totally different story. Just listen to what's going on. One more huge inhale. Good exhale. The foot slides in. Lift the hips up off the block. When the hips return to the floor, it'll feel nice to do some windshield wipers. So take a few rounds, softly going left and right. Next time knees are tilting to left, stay. Your choice if you'd like to also place left ankle on right thigh. No pressure to if it bugs the knee. Release the ankle, take 3 switches. So knees flip to the right, the left. Then when they go back to the right, stay. Your choice there if you stay exactly as is or right ankle can rest on left thigh. Only if it doesn't bug the knee. One more inhale. Good exhale. Release. Do a few more bonus windshield wipers. Good. And that feels pretty good. Take the knees in nice and wide, setting up for happy baby. Let there be a little bit of mobility, the low back, the hips. You can rock around in ways that feel good. Another beautiful inhale. Exhale. Release the hands. We're going to use the block to help us take a fish pose. So set the feet on the floor. Start working the elbows underneath you to prop you partially up. From that partial lift, you can grab your block and slide it under the spot. It's kind of like the low rib spot. It's not quite to low back. It's not quite all the way up to upper back. It's kind of like right in the middle. Low block height might work. Some of us might be flexible enough for middle or tall. But from there, start to let yourself rest back. Head arching up and over, maybe even legs sliding long. Feel how this lifts the heart energy up. Optimally, the crown of the head can still touch the ground. And just feel how open this is. It's a huge back bend. That's what we're going for whenever we do fish pose. So try to feel 2 more breaths expanding in your chest. One more good inhale. Exhale. Support the chin coming up to the chest. Work the elbows underneath. And then flip it to the hands so that we can rise up. They'll feel nice right afterwards to take a forward fold. Let's allow the legs to be out in front of us, narrow or wide. Circle the arms up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, nice release forward. Let this be a moment to ease some neck tension out, rocking the head left, right. Imagine by opening the heart like that, there was deep metaphorical connections. Some of those other types of connections that we were talking about earlier, you're starting to strengthen. Those ways in which we're connected in ways that we don't really understand. Beautiful. So let's rise up. Building a little bit of strength in the spine. Let's connect to the core. We're gonna have a block in our hands. The block in boat pose is going to help us touch the floor to one side. We're gonna exhale, inhale to lift up, exhale to touch the second side. If you grip lower, you'll have to twist deeper to touch. If you grip higher, you don't have to twist quite so far. So choose the appropriate amount. Find your boat pose. Feet on the ground is an easier variation. Exhale, inhale up at the top. Here is 5 and 5. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. Slide the bottoms of feet in, cobbler's pose. See if there's a way to set up the blocks, one or both of them, such that the forehead can rest down. Just finding a complete release in this cobbler's pose. If you need a little bit more than the blocks can give you, you can also stack fists. If you need a little less than what you have, you can always shift your block height. There's 3 options to do that. So those back muscles getting this chance to release. There's no muscular effort required. And how some of the initial tightness is starting to fade away. So take 3 more relaxing breaths, just settling even deeper into this shape. Good. Easy lift up. Transition the legs to cross leg. The blocks are going to be off at each side. What we're going to try to do is float our hips off the ground, maybe even the toes, by pressing into the blocks. So note that the medium block tends to be the more stable, and it still gives you good height. You could try tall to give you the most height, but it feels the less stable once you're up there. So you'll have to play around with what feels best. It'll look something like this. By pushing into the blocks, you curl your core in to lift the hips up, maybe also lifting the toes up if you feel it today, just depending. So we're gonna try to go for 5 back to back, nice and slow. So when you're ready, take an inhale breath. Exhale, push and lift. And rest down. 4. Use the whole exhale to lift. 3. I'll oftentimes lift my hands up for a moment to give the wrists a break. Here's 2. Good. This last one, feel free to stay as long as your body feels comfortable today. Amazing. Oh, good work. Okay, let's swing our knees underneath us. Let's place the blocks in front of us. I'm personally going to go medium height, but you could go tall. And we're going to use that to help us take puppy pose. It'll be nice because then the wrist can just kind of like flip down and just rest. So puppy pose is the one where hips stay over knees. We walk our elbows and our forearms onto the blocks, and the fingers just kind of dangle off the front end. This one is a heart opener. So kind of like the fish pose, your goal is to dip the heart down. So you'll have to find the distance. If the blocks are too close, it won't feel quite right. So feel free to play around with it if it's not quite in the right spot. On this height, I can oftentimes have the forehead on the ground. So just notice, find that good spot. Try to settle into the shape for just a couple more breaths. 2 more cycles. What I'll usually do to come out is rock my weight forward until fingers find the floor. Then I can lift up and shift all the way back to child pose. If forehead doesn't easily touch the ground in child, use a block to make that connection. Beautiful inhale. Nice exhale. And if you're ready for downward facing dog, feel free to start playing with that. We'll have our blocks kind of closer to the top ends, just in case we want to use them later. Downward facing dog, feel free to pedal out the legs in ways that feel really good. You can stay as long as it feels useful. Eventually, kind of like normal, we'll just make our way up to top of that. Find that nice forward fold. Sometimes in the forward fold here, it's possible to stack the blocks in a way that we can rest the forehead down, even adding in fists if we need to. If you're not touching, remember, you can always add fists or change the block height. See if you can feel the low back muscles release. It's almost like by placing the blocks here, it encourages our spine to lengthen just a little further than it might have on its own. Another good inhale. Nice exhale. Separating the blocks. Roll our way up. We can circle up to sky. Comes down to heart. Beautiful. Some of the things we'll do today are playing between an open and a twisted pose. So I'd like to play just for a moment here between the open half moon and the twisted half moon. So many people use blocks. If you don't want to use blocks, you can even scoot them a little further away. But let's take a moment trying to balance the right knee up. Trying to kick that directly back into half moon. The left hand lands to that wide angle. And then the right hand reaches up to sky. Notice the wide angle helps with the balance. It's not the hand directly in front of foot. Good. Try to bring your center of gravity over your middle so that you can roll up with balance, trying to get the right foot to not touch ground if possible. Good. Like curl in and rise up. Good. And then the twisted variation, it's the right leg that kicks back. This time it's right hand down, left hand trying to twist up. Good. See if the leg can lift a little higher. And then again, curl in, center of gravity is over our leg, and then rise up. Awesome. Let's set this foot down. Okay, good work. Second side. Float the left knee. Okay, the open version is right hand down. So the left arm lift, the hip stack. Good. Bend the knee in, try to roll up, balance. Good. And then same leg, but left hand down. Right hand twisting up if possible. Try to get the shoulders to open a little more. Amazing. Huge inhale. Exhale, curl back in, rise up. And foot drops to floor. Good. Circle arms up to sky. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands plant down, travel back, plank or kneeling plank. Try to hold in a half chaturanga, so you're melting partway to the ground, holding for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sphinx or cobra. Inhale. Exhale. Child or down dog. Inhale. Exhale. If you're not in down dog, transfer up to pick right leg up to sky. Right foot steps in between hands. Back knee is welcome to drop back down for this moment. It might be nice to slide the blocks under the hands for this lunge. You can have fingers up to sky if you prefer instead. But really feel, if you're using the blocks especially, feel how the support down helps you sink your hips even further forward maybe than they would have gone. Good. Inhale. Nice exhale. From here, twisting the spine, either hook the left wrist or slide down to the elbow, hands in prayer position. Hips are still sinking forward. Inhale. Exhale, return forward. Hands can connect with block. Maybe partial split. If you prefer just half split, that's also beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. Let's slide that right foot into a usable spot, back up at top of mat. Tuck the back toes. Back heel down, rising up, warrior one. Hands to hips, front leg straightens. Bend. Check first with the hips. Make sure that they are facing all the way forward. If it's kind of feeling like you have to tweak it to get there, shorten the stance just a little bit. And then slide forward. Maybe hands end up at shins, blocks, or floor. If you have the blocks, sometimes for a brief moment, I might lift up the ball of the foot, getting the calf much more intensely. Setting the foot down if it lifted. This one is a useful one for block, but you can use floor to take twisted pyramid. So left hand stays, right hand tries to rise all the way up to the point where like the shoulders are stacking. So if you feel the back trying to struggle, you can always bump up the block height. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, drop back down. Front knee bends. Warrior one. Huge inhale. Rotate open, warrior two. Extended side angle. Maybe fingers to a block or maybe fingers to floor. The other arm extends forward. Rising up, a brief reverse. Good. Rising back up. Straighten the front leg. The block can help us reach a little bit further down, but keep the hips square. There's something I oftentimes see in pyramid pose where people kind of turn their hips forward to try to reach the hand to ground. Instead, keep them flat and square. Reach the right hand forward. Feel the tilt of the hips. That's fine. Not dropping down though. And then see where the hand can fall. So shin is pretty easy. If you can reach shin, usually you can reach block. Top hand up to sky. You can always stack blocks to make it a little higher too. Floor is like the rare people that it's completely open still. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Rising up. We're going to take our half moon normal version and then twisted version again. So if you need to set up your blocks first, set them up. Then cartwheel the right hand down. The left hand that floats and the left leg. Try to bring your center of gravity over the middle, curling up with balance, left knee floating. Pick right back with the left leg and left hand down, twisting the right hand up. Good. Pull the knee in, rise. Foot drops down, circle up to sky, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half flip. Exhale, plant the hands, travel to plank or kneeling plank. Try to hold in our half chaturanga as low as you can with strength and balance. Count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sphinx or cobra. And child or down dog. Doesn't it? I'm with you. It does feel good. Beautiful. Wherever we're at, let's transition briefly to down dog so we can step the left leg through. So lift it up to sky. Left foot steps up to top of mat. Lower the back knee. Perhaps slide blocks in so that we can really, really feel ourselves supported and sinking the hips forward. Like when I let myself have the support, I can really imagine a straight line from one kneecap clear up to the other kneecap. Prefer to reach up to sky briefly. Don't back your hips away at all. Good, and let's come up to thigh so that we can take the spinal twist. Still sinking hips forward. Right wrist hooks, twisting open, or slide to elbow. Good. And see if the hips can sink maybe another inch forward. Inhale. Exhale, unwind. We're taking a moment with the half splits or maybe scooting partially forward, closer to full splits. I love having this block support for this one. Helps my spine stay a little bit more lifted than it could be. Just notice how sometimes that connection, that adding in like a block, That little connection can make all the difference. Two more breaths. Stay connected to it. And slide that left foot into a usable spot. Check the back toes, lifting that knee. Drop the heel down. This is rising up briefly so we can really check in with our hips. If they're still open to the side at all, shorten your stance so you can face all the way forward. Two straight legs. Start to slide down. Maybe ending at it side. Maybe able to drop down the blocks. Keep the front leg straightening, which means that this left kneecap is going to lift a little bit from our quad contracting. That quad contraction is what creates the lengthening ability for hamstring. We're going to try to twist. So again, if you want to stack blocks or use blocks, if you're not there, go ahead and keep the right hand down, supported. Both legs are still straight. Left hand tries to come all the way up to the point where shoulders are stacked. More inhale. Exhale, drop down, front knee bends, maybe back foot slid back if it got forward at all. Warrior one. Open to warrior two. Good. Extended side angle. Maybe we can use the block. Left hand going to block or floor. Right hand tracing its way forward to the front mirror. Good. Rising up, briefly reverse. Rising back up, straighten the front leg. This one's playing with triangle pose, so maybe check in with the hips that they're completely facing the side. As the arms open, slide the left hand forward, feel just the back hip lift. We're not curling down at all. And then let it drop down, shin. Block is often accessible. And then our shoulders stacking directly upright. Like you could be smushed in between two panes of glass. You're so in a line. One more huge inhale. Exhale, easy rise up. If you need to reset your blocks for the half moon section, go ahead and reset. I'll usually bump mine a little bit forward and keep them wide. And when you're ready, left hand cartwheels down. Half moon. If the hand isn't under shoulder, it might feel a little wobbly. So scooting forward or even wider might be useful. Good. Curl the knee in, finding that center of balance. Try to float up, right knee floating, not to touch ground the whole time. And then when the right leg kicks back, this time it's right hand that goes down, left hand that tries to step. Good. Roll in. Good balance as we rise. And step the foot down. Good work. Circle up to sky. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as hands plant down. One last time. Kneeling plank or full plank. Finding that half chaturanga. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sphinx or cobra. Child or down dog. Beautiful efforts from everyone. Not in child, go ahead and drop down. Let the knees be wide enough that we can do a shoulder stretch. So with the arms tracing forward, slide the right arm under the left armpit space. And under and through. This is the point where things start to slow down and cool down. Unwind this shoulder. The second side. Another huge breath in. Nice exhale. And comes in, press into it. Take just 2 or 3 breaths, normal child pose. Recenter the spine. Do a seated place, swing the legs out in front of us. Taking the bottoms of feet to cobbler's pose. Let's do the same one we did earlier. Trying to allow forehead to rest down some way or another. Figure out the block height that's going to work best today, including fists. Rising up. Got a couple of options. Sitting on block would be easier for hips. Cross leg right in front would be the next step up. Shin stack is the step after that. Or there might be 1 or 2 of us that can even do shin stack with blocks underneath. So only if that's not going to aggravate your knee. Whatever version you choose, we're going to relax forward. If you're not using block, relaxing forehead down to blocks is a good option. Way where do you love it? Me too. Isn't it amazing? Yeah. Things like this that help us to really connect. It's exploring with the body a little bit deeper. One more good inhale here. Nice exhale. Easy rising up. We'll switch legs. So right will end up on the bottom. Left can be crossed in front, maybe shin stack, or maybe stack with the block props. Even not putting one under the foot could help a knee that naturally lifts. So that's an option as well. Whenever you get to your spot, easy release forward. Maybe if you're not using blocks, forehead gets rested down on blocks. Rising up. As we ease the legs out, let's let the legs go wide. We tilt forward, maybe there's a way to rest forehead down in front of us. Rising up. We'll slide our legs more narrow. There's different ways you could use the block, either placing them on your thighs or, for a deeper variation, hooking your fingers around them and then trying to capture your feet. So it allows you to stretch just a little bit further than just your feet. Different variations depending on what feels good. Rising up. Let's take another fish pose. So choose your block height, small or medium perhaps. We're sitting out in front. It's going to end up being at about the middle of the back. That arch up, optimally crown of head can touch the floor. Bring the chin up, support the head. With the elbows sliding underneath, we can gently remove the block. Slide down onto our backs. We got some fish pose lovers, I can tell. That's fine, you can stay a little longer if you want. I'll guide through one last pose. I recommend going a little lower than we did before. If you went to tall height, go to medium, or medium goes to small. As you slide the block under the sacrum one more time. We're going just a little lower than before because both legs are going to slide out and both arms are going to slide up. So it's like a big X on the ground. But still a back bend, just a little different focus than the fish pose. Nice opening on those psoas areas one more time. See if you have any clenching especially in the glutes. See if that can release. Take 3 more breaths. For all 3, the feet can slide in. We can remove the block. If there's any last movements we need, maybe some windshield wipers or just rocking of the hips into the ground, feel free to take them. Any last transition poses, basically to Shavasana is where we're at. As long as your body requires to feel comfortable, to feel good. I'll start guiding into the focus for the Shavasana, but that doesn't mean you have to rush your way there if you're still doing poses. So returning to connection. The biggest thing in the Shavasana that I'd like to focus on is connection to breath. That breath we're usually completely ignorant of. We don't really notice what it's doing. So at least for this time together in the Shavasana, these next couple of minutes, try to feel connected with the breath. As conscious as you can. Try to be with the inhales and exhales. Maybe even trying to play with it, such as connecting the inhale to the exhale. And then connecting the exhale to the inhale like a big water wheel, trying to minimize any pauses in between. Be with the breath in a way that feels relaxing and slow. We'll be here for the next couple of minutes together. Begin to deepen inhales and exhales. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out in ways that feel really good. Perhaps eventually taking a little fetal position off to one side. Enjoy a few bonus breaths. Be a good 2 or 3 beautiful cycles until you feel ready to rise sooner or later. As we rise up, hands together in front of heart, you return to connection again. Grateful for the connection the block gave us to Earth. Grateful for this deepening connection we have with ourselves, with our breath, with the sensations in our body. Grateful for the connections we have with others, especially friends and family that support us. I'm grateful for this deeper connection we have, maybe not even fully comprehending how connected all of humanity is. So with this concept of connection to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.